From department store pioneers and cinema kings to banking dynasties and real estate giants, Singapore's story of wealth is written through families whose fortunes span generations. These aren't overnight success stories. They are dynasties that began with vision, grit, and the ability to see opportunity long before others. The Tang family turned a tin trunk into Orchard Road's first luxury landmark. The Shaws brought silver screens to life and built a foundation that outlasts their films. The AW brothers created Tiger Balm, a brand known worldwide, while the Lien and Lee families shaped Singapore's banks and gave back through philanthropy that transformed society. From the discreet Kwee brothers to the strategic Khoos, the disciplined Wees, the expansive Kweks, and finally the powerful Ung family. These are the richest old money families of Singapore, and their legacies are built into the nation's very skyline. In the number 10 position, we have the Tang family, a dynasty that turned one man's determination into a name every Singaporean knows. The story begins with C.K. Tang, often called the Tin Trunk Man. He arrived in Singapore with almost nothing but a dream, selling household goods door to door out of a tin trunk. What seemed like a humble hustle became the foundation of Tang's, the iconic department store that helped transform Orchard Road from a quiet street into Asia's luxury shopping capital. Walking into Tangs today feels like stepping into a piece of living history. For decades, it has been more than just a store. It's been a symbol of aspiration. Generations of Singaporeans remember shopping under its green-tiled roof, a landmark blending culture, commerce, and tradition. Unlike many modern billionaires, the Tang family didn't chase global spotlights or flashy headlines. Instead, they built carefully, investing in prime Orchard Road property long before the area became the heartbeat of Singaporean retail. What makes their story especially powerful is how they managed to preserve this legacy through generations. Even as international luxury brands moved in and e-commerce reshaped shopping, the Tang family remained steady guardians of a homegrown empire. Their wealth may not always dominate the top charts compared to banking dynasties or real estate giants, but their influence runs deep. They shaped the very landscape of Singapore's luxury identity. The Tang story is proof that old money doesn't always come from billion-dollar mergers or financial empires. Sometimes it starts with a single trunk, relentless persistence, and the vision to see Orchard Road not just as a street, but as the future stage of Singaporean luxury. And that vision continues to pay dividends today. In the number 9 position, we have the Shaw family, a dynasty whose empire was built not on oil, banks, or property at first, but on something far more magical, the silver screen. Arriving from Shanghai in the 1920s, the Shaw brothers, Run May and Run, saw something others didn't. While most focused on trade and goods, they envisioned a future where cinema would capture hearts and wallets alike. With boldness and foresight, they created the Shaw Organization, bringing films, theaters, and entertainment to a rapidly modernizing Singapore. But this wasn't just about showing movies. It was about transforming culture. The Shaws built an empire of cinemas across Singapore and Malaysia, making them household names for decades. Families flocked to Shaw theaters not just for entertainment, but for an experience that blended glamour with community. Their business savvy stretched further, moving into prime property holdings that turned box office profits into long-term, generational wealth. Today, the Shaw Organization still runs a chain of modern cinemas, but the family's true mark lies in the Shaw Foundation, one of Singapore's largest charitable organizations. Through it, the Shaws funded hospitals, universities, and countless community projects. That's the essence of old money. Wealth that doesn't just last, but leaves a footprint for society to follow. Even as global streaming giants and multiplex competitors rise, the Shaw name carries respect, not only as entertainment pioneers, but as philanthropists whose impact runs deeper than the screen. Their story reminds us that in Singapore, old money isn't just about financial clout. It's about vision, reinvention, and the decision to turn profits into legacy. And for the Shaws, that legacy still lights up Singapore, one frame at a time. In the number 8 position, we have the AW family, the dynasty behind Tiger Balm. the tiny jar with a global roar. The story begins with Abun Ha and Abun Par, two Burmese Chinese brothers who migrated to Singapore in the early 20th century. With nothing more than a herbal recipe inherited from their father, they crafted a balm that promised relief for aches, pains, and headaches. It wasn't just medicine, it was marketing genius. The brothers turned Tiger Balm into a household brand, recognized from Singapore to San Francisco. What made their empire unique was not only the product itself, but how they branded it. The roaring tiger logo became a symbol of trust, strength, and tradition. At a time when most remedies were confined to local shops, Tiger Balm spread through clever packaging, aggressive marketing, and an instinct for global expansion long before globalization was a buzzword. This foresight planted the seeds of generational wealth, but the AW family's legacy didn't stop at medicine. They built Ha Par Villa, a cultural theme park unlike any other in Asia, filled with colorful statues and mythical scenes designed to educate and entertain. Though eccentric by modern standards, it reflected the family's ambition to leave a mark not just in business, but in heritage. Today, the AW legacy lives on through diversified holdings in property and healthcare, proving that a simple balm could become the foundation of lasting fortune. The Abiyu family story captures the essence of old money, innovation that endures, cultural impact that resonates, and wealth that transcends generations. In every sense, their fortune was built to heal, inspire, and outlast time itself. In the number 7 position, we have the Lien family, a dynasty whose fortune was built on banking, vision, and an unshakable belief in giving back. The story begins with Lien Ying Chow, a refugee from China who arrived in Singapore with little more than determination. Through grit and foresight, he founded Overseas Union Bank, OUB, in 1947, a bold move in a time when banking was dominated by established colonial institutions. His bank grew rapidly, becoming one of Singapore's largest financial institutions and a trusted pillar for generations of depositors. But what sets the Lien family apart from many other old money dynasties is their unwavering commitment to philanthropy. After building his fortune, Lien Ying Chow established the Lien Foundation, which became one of Singapore's most forward-thinking charitable organizations. Instead of focusing only on traditional donations, the foundation poured resources into causes that were often overlooked: elder care, early childhood education, and palliative care. These were areas that shaped not only communities, but the very fabric of Singaporean society. Even after OUB was eventually acquired by United Overseas Bank, the Lien family's influence didn't fade. Their legacy continues through both real estate interests and the foundation's transformative work. Unlike families that focus solely on wealth preservation, the Liens showed how fortune could be a tool for bold, progressive change. The Lien story proves that old money isn't just measured by the size of a fortune, but by how that fortune is used. Their name remains synonymous not only with financial achievement, but with a generosity that continues to ripple through Singapore. For the Liens, true wealth wasn't simply about profit, it was about purpose, and that legacy is still alive today. In the number 6 position, we have the Kong Chian family, a dynasty that built its fortune from rubber and pineapples, and then cemented its place in Singapore's history through banking and education. Kong Chian, often remembered as one of Southeast Asia's greatest businessmen and philanthropists, was not only the son-in-law of Tan Kwee, another legendary tycoon, but also a visionary in his own right. He diversified aggressively, moving from commodities into finance, and played a crucial role in shaping OCBC Bank, which today stands as one of Asia's strongest financial institutions. Yet Kong Chian's legacy isn't defined solely by wealth, but by how he chose to direct it. He established the Lien Foundation, which grew into Singapore's largest private charitable foundation. Unlike others who focused only on infrastructure or one sector, the Lien Foundation funded libraries, schools, universities, hospitals, and cultural projects that touch countless lives. Walk through Singapore today, and you'll see the Lien name engraved in institutions that continue to empower future generations. The Lien family's wealth may be quieter compared to flashier real estate dynasties, but it is deeply embedded in Singapore's growth story. Their OCBC stake represents enduring financial power, while their philanthropic footprint stretches across nearly every major education and cultural institution in the country. What makes their story remarkable is balance, balancing business acumen with social responsibility, wealth accumulation with wealth distribution. The Lee family illustrates that old money isn't just about preserving riches, but about building a legacy that nurtures a nation. Generations later, their influence still flows quietly through Singapore's economy, classrooms, and cultural life. A fortune as much about knowledge as it is about capital. In the number 5 position, we have the Kwee family, 4 brothers who transformed a modest family business into one of Singapore's most discreet yet powerful real estate dynasties. Known collectively through the Pontiac Land Group, the Kwee brothers, Kwee Leong Kang, Kwee Leong Sin, Kwee Leong Fing, and Kwee Leong Tek, built their empire around a vision for ultra-prime developments. Their properties are not just buildings, they are landmarks of modern Singapore. Think Ritz-Carlton Millenia, Capella Singapore, and the towering Marina Bay Financial Center, each a statement of sophistication and precision. Unlike flashier dynasties, the Kwees are famously low-profile. They rarely give interviews, preferring to let their architecture and design speak louder than headlines. Behind the scenes, however, their influence is undeniable. Pontiac Land became a symbol of luxury real estate, characterized by meticulous attention to detail, integration of art collections, and collaborations with world-renowned architects. Their projects often blur the line between property development and cultural expression. The family's wealth doesn't just sit in numbers on a balance sheet, it is built into the very skyline of Singapore. Their holdings stretch beyond hotels into office towers and residential icons, making them landlords to some of the most influential businesses and wealthiest individuals in Asia. The Kwee story shows how old money evolves. What began as cautious investments in property blossomed into a brand synonymous with exclusivity and elegance. Their approach is subtle, but it ensures their wealth endures across generations. In a city where real estate defines power, the Kwee brothers are proof that true influence is often measured not by noise, but by the lasting beauty of the spaces you create. In the number 4 position, we have the Khoo family, a dynasty whose story blends finance, real estate, and philanthropy into one of Singapore's most enduring fortunes. At the center of this legacy is Khoo Teck Puat, a banker who once stood as Singapore's richest man. After leaving Maybank in Malaysia, Khoo returned to Singapore and began amassing stakes in hotels, properties, and, most famously, a large shareholding in Standard Chartered Bank. That investment, bold at the time, became the cornerstone of a family fortune that would last long after his passing. The true turning point came in 2006, when the Khoo family sold their massive Standard Chartered stake for billions. It was one of the biggest financial windfalls in Singapore's history, instantly solidifying their place among the region's wealthiest old money dynasties. Yet the Khoos didn't just walk away with cash. They diversified into real estate and hospitality, maintaining control of iconic assets such as Goodwood Park Hotel, a heritage landmark that reflects both prestige and tradition. What makes the Khoo story stand out is their commitment to philanthropy. Much of Khoo Teck Puat's estate was directed toward charitable causes, funding hospitals, medical research, and social initiatives. Even today, the Khoo Foundation continues to channel wealth into meaningful impact, ensuring the family name is tied not only to luxury and wealth, but also to compassion. The Khoos exemplify how old money can adapt. From banking to real estate, from private profits to public good, they built a legacy that is both financial and cultural. In Singapore's story of dynasties, the Khoo family shows how wealth, when managed with foresight, can create ripples far beyond the boardroom. Their name remains etched into both the city's skyline and its social fabric. In the number 3 position, we have the Wee family, the dynasty behind one of Southeast Asia's most powerful financial institutions, United Overseas Bank, UOB. Their story begins with Wee Keng Chiang, a visionary who co-founded the bank in 1935. But it was his son, Wee Cho Yaw, who transformed UOB from a modest institution into a global financial powerhouse. Through decades of careful leadership, acquisitions, and expansion, Wee Cho Yaw cemented the family's name as synonymous with stability, prudence, and long-term growth. Unlike many old money dynasties that diversified widely, the Wees made banking their fortress. Today, UOB is the third largest bank in Southeast Asia, serving millions of customers and maintaining a reputation for conservative management and trustworthiness. Alongside the bank, the family's influence extends into UOL Group and Singapore Lien, giving them significant stakes in property development and investment. Their portfolio reflects the hallmarks of old money, assets that grow steadily and endure across economic cycles. But the story of the Wee family isn't just about numbers on financial statements. It's about the passing of a philosophy. From Wee Keng Chiang to Wee Cho Yaw, and now to the third generation with Wee Ee Chong, the family has demonstrated the ability to adapt without losing its core values. That continuity of vision is what makes dynasties thrive, while others fade. Their wealth is measured not only in billions, but in influence, shaping Singapore's banking sector, financing businesses, and fueling the nation's economic growth. The Wee family represents the archetype of old money in Singapore, disciplined, enduring, and deeply woven into the country's rise as a financial hub. Their dynasty proves that true wealth is built not overnight, but over lifetimes. In the number 2 position, we have the Kwek family, one of Singapore's most prominent dynasties, whose wealth stretches across property, finance, and hospitality. At the heart of their empire is Hong Leong Group, founded by Kwek Hong Peng and expanded dramatically by his son, Kwek Leng Beng. Under his leadership, the family grew from modest roots into a global powerhouse, owning City Developments Limited, CDL, one of Singapore's largest real estate developers, as well as the international hotel chain Millennium and Copthorne Hotels. The Kwek story is a classic tale of old money transforming with the times. Starting with small trading ventures, the family steadily accumulated land and assets, then turned them into some of the most iconic hotels, offices, and residential projects in Singapore and abroad. Their empire spans more than 20 countries, making the Kweks not only a local dynasty, but also a global force in luxury real estate and hospitality. But with great wealth comes challenges. The family has faced governance disputes and headlines about internal divisions, especially around succession planning. Yet these very struggles highlight the resilience of old money dynasties, the ability to navigate family drama while safeguarding assets that are too significant to fail. Through it all, Kwek Leng Beng has remained a commanding presence, ensuring that the Hong Leong and CDL legacy continues to thrive. What makes the Kwek family fascinating is their balance between tradition and bold expansion. They are deeply rooted in Singapore's property landscape, yet agile enough to position themselves globally. Their fortune reflects the very essence of old money, wealth built carefully over decades, diversified across borders, and designed to endure. The Kweks prove that dynasties aren't just born, they are built, defended, and passed down with determination. In the number 1 position, we have the Meng family, Singapore's richest old money dynasty and the force behind Far East Organization, the nation's largest private property developer. The story begins with Ng Teng Fong, famously known as the King of Orchard Road. Arriving from China with little, he built his fortune brick by brick, acquiring land at a time when others saw little value in it. His vision was simple but powerful. Singapore's future would be written in concrete, glass, and steel. And he was right. From shopping malls to luxury hotels, residential estates to office towers, Far East Organization has shaped the very landscape of Singapore. Walk down Orchard Road, and chances are you'll pass through a Nguyen family property. Beyond Singapore, the dynasty expanded its reach into Hong Kong through Sino Group, extending its influence across Asia's most competitive real estate markets. Today, the empire is stewarded by Ng's sons, Robert and Philip Ng, who continue to safeguard and grow the family's vast portfolio. What makes the Ng family unique is their scale. Their holdings are so extensive that they are often described as Singapore's largest private landlord. This sheer dominance has secured their place at the summit of Singapore's wealth pyramid. Yet despite their immense fortune, the family is known for maintaining a low profile, preferring quiet influence over public spotlight. The Ung dynasty represents the pinnacle of what old money means in Singapore: foresight, patience, and generational discipline. From Ung Teng Fong's humble beginnings to the billion-dollar empire his children command today, the family story is proof that true wealth isn't just about seizing opportunities, it's about shaping a city. Their legacy is literally built into Singapore's skyline, ensuring the Eng name will remain untouchable for generations to come.